This one's wife. Move along. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. We all know that this one's wife turned up at Variety's Power of Women event last week. We've seen the pictures of her. There she was, on the red carpet, revelling in the attention. The press attention provides her with fuel. The knowledge that her photographs are going to appear in publications around the globe provides her with fuel. It's part of the management of her facade as all-round decent person and fashion icon. Thus, an opportunity to be seen on the red carpet is advantageous. The event as a whole, of course, was one where she would seek to acquire character traits by being seen with various power-playing individuals, none of which are applicable to her, but she likes to think that she is. She also regards herself as heart attack beautiful, gorgeous, desirable, and thus she preened and pouted on the red carpet. But not everything went her way. As Alana Kasala writes in The Times, awkward moment, this one's wife is interrupted by aide while being photographed at glitzy Variety Gala. Yes, things didn't quite go the way that this one's wife would have preferred. You've probably seen the video footage where this one's wife is stood on the red carpet and then an aide comes along with an outstretched arm to usher her along, as if to say, right, enough time there. Come on, fuck off. We've had enough photographs. Get on with it. Now, of course, somebody coming along and ushering a narcissist along is a threat to control. Touching her is an invasion of space and also feels like a threat to control. Accordingly, in the circumstances, her narcissism needs her to do something about this threat to control. Now, she didn't move at first, which shows her sense of entitlement and the fact that she's saying, no, I'll stay here as long as I require. After all, I'm in charge, I know best. Even though that aide was trying to help her, something which I'll come back to in due course, this one's wife demonstrates her stubbornness through her sense of entitlement. The aide trying to usher her, of course, is comical to those who enjoy seeing the various haphazard ways that this one's wife functions. But also, it amounts to a threat to control for her, and therefore her narcissism must deal with it. Because this one's wife is hypersensitive to the issue of control, the fact that somebody's telling her what to do, this time by ushering her, which of course is something she does repeatedly to Prince Harry, but that doesn't matter. She's allowed to do that to him, nobody's allowed to do it to her, means that this threat to control has to be dealt with. She could, of course, utilise the direct approach, would be to perhaps slap the hand away, push it away, or ignore it, which is what she did at first. There's the possibility of an indirect assertion of control where she could complain about it to somebody or make light of it if she was a more skilled narcissist by going to the press pack, look at this, she wants her turn in the picture also. It's my turn to get photographed, she can wait. Cue chortle chortle. Of course, this one's wife lacks a sense of humour, therefore her narcissism wouldn't be able to take her down that route. She could, of course, just then ultimately go to the position of withdrawal, which would be marching away in a huff or standing and basically saying to herself, I'm going to ignore this person. As it was, her facade management did its job. Rather than her erupt with one of her death stares, what she did was she turned around and gave the aide's hand a squeeze, which made her look like she was being friendly. But that was simply the nullification of the threat to control, as if to say, stop it. But she did it in a way which was less aggressive than, say, pushing the hand away, slapping the hand away, punching her in the jaw. The Mail reports this one's wife was awkwardly interrupted as she posed up a storm for the paparazzi at a glitzy LA gala. The former actress, 42, took to Variety's Power of Women event and stole the show. Well, I don't think that's quite right, judging from the photographs that I've seen, on the black carpet in a sleek 1,120 evening dress from New York-based brand Proenza Schuler. But the mother of two was awkwardly interrupted as a woman who appeared to be an aide tried to move her out of the limelight. Looking eager to move the Duchess along, the woman tried to get this one's wife's attention. But when this one's wife seemed unfazed by her attempt, she uttered, "That's fine." Thus, as the aide comes in and attempts to get her to move on, this one's wife ignores her, thus nullifying the threat to control by ignoring her, turning and continuing to pose, and then eventually turns and squeezes the hand to nullify the threat to control. The Duchess opted for a classy minimalist look for the occasion and donned a $1,390 beige maxi dress from New York-based brand Proenza Schurler. The trendy gown featured a one-shoulder design with slits along the skirt. The mother of two teamed the frock with a leather clutch from the same designer and £720 heels from her favourite Aquazzura, assuming she didn't nick those from Reitman's on this occasion. This one's wife's raven tresses, nice attempt at describing her hair, were slicked back into a bun, and she opted for a summery, dewy makeup look which showed off her California tan, aka bronzer. The Duchess had used a solo trip to a mum's night out gala in LA to tease that she and Prince Harry are working on exciting new projects, blah blah blah, rhubarb, explained further in forthcoming videos, so I won't go into that in detail now. But there she is, on the red or black carpet as was described, and she faces that threat to control and initially responds by ignoring, and then puts her hand on the individual and smiles to nullify the control in a benign way. Now, the interaction between this one's wife and her aide, where she initially ignored her, staying in a position of withdrawal to nullify the threat to control, and then responded in an apparently benign way in order again to nullify the threat to control, was something that was worth discussion in relation to an individual who is an expert in the PR world. This individual explained to me that she was once a PR manager for a music star to promote her Eurovision entry. This person sold millions of albums and mesmerized stadiums full of people, which included performances at Madison Square Garden. The individual is empathic. Now, she observed that this one's wife's PR person was scared to death to even touch this one's wife when it was time to move on at the photo call. Ordinarily, of course, the PR person's job is to ensure that things are kept ticking along and that there isn't overexposure, that the individual isn't getting in the way, acting in the best interests of the relevant individual, the client. Yet, this one's wife responded by grabbing at her, albeit in a seemingly benign way by squeezing her hand. Now, the PR expert explains that at the time her client knew that her job was to handle the media and keep that client from oversaturation. Therefore, in such circumstances where the PR expert had to touch her in front of cameras, the music star would either have moved on or pulled her in to have a picture taken together as colleagues. She would also mention this person, the PR expert, by name on air to show her appreciation for the work that she was doing. The PR expert observes that this one's wife treats her PR advisors as if they are slaves. The PR expert explained that she travelled across Europe doing multiple press conferences, interviews, performances, live shows, red carpets, etc. As a public persona, you show up to an event or give an interview to promote your upcoming project. There's no point in going otherwise. She observes that in this one's wife's case, she had nothing at all to promote on the red carpet. There was the golden opportunity to lift the veil on upcoming events, but she had nothing to say. Recall, she said, "We've got things slated," but didn't actually mention anything because she hasn't got anything to promote. So here she is, she fouls up once again, demonstrating an almost amateurish approach to these things, that she has a golden opportunity to showcase what's forthcoming, and there's nothing to offer. Why? Because they haven't created anything, despite her suggesting that they have. My PR expert was quite frank about what this one's wife did and explained she just spoke bollocks and couldn't name or even hint at a single project in the pipeline. The reason being, she has absolutely nothing. The PR expert contrasts this one's wife with her music star client, who was well prepared for each interview because she recognised how important it was to promote her work. They rehearsed with questions sent in advance or questions they assumed would be asked. This one's wife wasn't prepared at all. She had nothing to say, nothing to promote, and therefore that's why those in the PR industry recognise that she's got no future in Hollywood, no projects in the pipeline. She's beige and bland with nothing. Naturally, she just rolls over her advisors in pursuit of the prime aims. She's a middle-aged royal mother and wife showing up to an event she was forced to miss last year because, of course, how dare the Queen die on her? And she was there in apparently stylish clothing, but it was inappropriate attire without her husband, for no logical reason whatsoever, simply expecting to be worshipped, even though she's a year too late for that. The music star client would always make sure that she looked presentable and modest, so people focused on her music talent and the message where she was promoting pacifism, which she was passionate about as a child of war. PR expert explained it was meaningful to work with her. There was a common understanding of the goal. Naturally, of course, this one's wife just focuses on the now, the now, the now. Look at me in order to control people. Look at me now, so that she receives fuel. But it demonstrates why she'll get nowhere because, as the PR expert points out, here's a missed opportunity for her to promote something, and she's got nothing to offer because all that really matters to her is herself. Not the promotion of projects, because there aren't any. It's simply, here I am, you should all be worshipping me. Because her narcissism causes her to want that for control and for fuel. And once again, she demonstrates what an absolute loser she is. Time she really did move along. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.